Hello, Pauper fans. I'm Mathonical, and you're joining me for round 4 of this Pauper challenge with BorosSS Monarch. Opening hand is a keepable one, not the most exciting, but we're not going to ship this one back. We've been having pretty bad luck with mulligans in the past couple rounds. Looks like we're against Tron again. Alright, good thing we have our sideboard plan for this matchup. Extra lands is not what we're looking for. We do want to start doing something a bit more interesting than that. Kor Skyfisher allows us to at least come with a Thraben Inspector to get our clues on. Here, and the reason why we did instead of drawing a card, Kor Skyfisher, bouncing the Thraben Inspector, at least put extra pressure on the board. We want to try and get as much damage as possible, and because of that, we're going to continue doing that by playing the Thraben Inspector and the Seeker the way there, instead of playing the Seeker plus bounce with Kor Skyfisher. This is just the maximum damage we can get down. Our opponent is going to get Tron online. We're just going to hope for nothing too crazy and get in with as much damage as we can. There is the option of bolting our opponent's face to get an extra 4 damage in there, but uh, if it's not going to win the game and it's not going to bring us that much, like if we don't see a clear way of winning, our opponent did just get Tron online, I'm more concerned with having a way of just removing something, just keep our options open. And this means we get to develop our board by playing a Kor Skyfisher and replay the Thraben Inspector. We could, of course, done both, but let's just go with this way. So let's see what our opponent is trying to do. Green. Alright. Extra Chromatic Sphere. And okay, so the Marauder. That does make sense. This is why we don't bolt our opponent's face, even if it's just a little extra damage. We're going to swing with everything, and except for the Thraben Inspector, and hope for a block on the Seeker. We don't mind trading a Lightning Bolt plus a Seeker for this card, since it's going to be getting them a lot of life in the long run. I'm expecting my opponent to sacrifice the Sphere, but they didn't there, so makes me wonder if they've got Rolling Thunder or something to that effect in their hand and would need the additional color source. And it's really nice that we did draw the Palace Sentinels there. That is an excellent card for us to have on this board state, since our opponent doesn't have any, well, at least not currently, any attacks to steal it back from us. The additional card draw is going to be very nice to get us out of this little bit of flood we've been having. We're going to go ahead and swing in with those 3 cards. If they block Thraben Inspector, we do get to kill their creature, and I want to keep at least one thing back to threaten chump blocking. So we're just going to kind of go with this plan. We could have attacked with everything since we were planning to go for the Skyfisher plan, but I would like more than one thing. Looks like our opponent our one opponent does that. Either they're trying to bluff that they have the Rolling Thunder, but I'm expecting that they do have it, and they just wanted to see if they'd be able to remove all of our creatures and attack us to steal back the monarchy. They ended up not going for that, so they're just going to go ahead and gain some additional life. It's going to be a bit of a grind, but we'll see what we can do. Wretched Griff is not the kind of card we want to see, because we are going to have to remove that to continue to get in our pressure. They're swinging with the Marauder. I don't think that's correct. I'm just going to throw everything in front of it. I don't mind losing a couple creatures if it means getting that off the board. First, we're going to give Galvanic Blast the Griff, and we're going to continue to do the Boros thing and draw multiple cards a turn, and get in for our damage. Board is clear, so hopefully we can ride the 2 cards a turn card advantage to win the game, and we have some clues that we have yet to go. Ulamog's Crusher normally might be a little bit frightening, but we do have the Journey to Nowhere to deal with that, thankfully. Going to go ahead and draw our cards first, just to see what all of our options are, and swing in for our damage. I play an untapped land there, because I plan on cracking a clue. And our opponent does go for the Rolling Thunder. That was to be expected. And so we have no more board state. We're gonna see what we can do to try and rebuild. And here we really only need 1 burn spell to win the game. Like, we've gotten them so close. We have a Lightning Bolt. One of the downsides of Searing Blaze is it does need a valid target. And we're just drawing through everything, and after drawing so many cards, we didn't find another burn spell. But as long as they play a creature, and they don't gain life this turn, Searing Blaze will win. So we're just hoping for no Marauder plus some kind of artifact. That didn't happen, so we're going to go ahead and play Radiant Fountain so we can Searing Blaze and bolt our opponent's face. Looks like it's good. Alright, managed to win game 1. Even through multiple Marauders. Jump over to the sideboard. We're definitely bringing in all of these Molten Rains. That is the sideboard plan against Tron. They also have Rolling Thunder, so it might be reasonable to bring in Prismatic Strands. I opt not to do that. On this one, I don't know how many Rolling Thunders they do have. We know that they have at least one. Usually they won't have more than like, and they don't have ways of recurring it, so... And Prismatic Strands would only be good against that. Um, yeah. So in the end, I'm only going to bring in the 3 Molten Rains. I'm going to take it through 2 Thraben Inspectors and 1 Searing Blaze. Searing Blaze has a bit of a difficult time killing their creatures. Of course, it would also be reasonable to keep in the Searing Blaze and just remove a 3rd Thraben Inspector, since it's going to be kind of stuck on the ground. And the clues it produces do help them gain life with the Marauder. We're going to take a look at our opening hand. And this is a bit of a flood, but we do have ways of redrawing. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty opposed to mulliganing, so we're just going to go ahead and keep it and just kind of hope we get something to combo with these. Probably should mulligan it. I do not recommend keeping a hand like this, but what's the worst that can happen? We're up a game. Let's find out. We're drawing really well, so far our plan's working out. And here we have the What Do We Kill Tron land. They just played 3 Tron lands in a row. Which one do we hope they not have a duplicate of? I'm gonna kill the tower just because that is 3 mana as opposed to 2. It is the first one they played, so maybe it's the one that they most likely want destroyed. It's hard to say. We're just gonna go for it. And bam. Let's find out. Does that win us the game? No, they have another Tron. Alright. Opponent has it this game. They definitely had some good stuff. Although, of course, we're drawing really well. We kept a 5-land hand and we've been drawing nothing but action. So we're going to continue to play out our action. We're going to have to do something with this Griff. We're taking beats from it pretty hard at the moment. Opponent's continuing to get multiple Tron lands. And no, all that. Alright. We're going to do the Boros thing and draw some cards. Player Kor Skyfisher. We will look to double block if it comes down to it. We just want to kind of preserve our life total because we are afraid of a Rolling Thunder at some point. Opponent is drawing lots of cards as well, and it looks like they already have the Rolling Thunder. So we're in a pretty bad spot here. Without a way of killing the Wretched Griff, I don't think there's going to be a way to win. We're just going to draw a ton of cards, and it looks like we're hitting all of our lands now, so it's a bit unfortunate. Get in for our 1 damage. Gotta send that message. Another Wretched Griff. Things aren't looking good. Inner's Edict. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't seem great against us. Block. And what's happening here? Let's find out. That is not a card I was expecting to see them bring in against Boros. We're just going to go ahead and get rid of one of the Wretched Griffs. It does keep us alive for a turn, and this might keep us alive for another turn. We're just going to try and buy as many turns as we can. I did play the Boros Garrison knowing it was going to get killed, but I'd rather them to use their lands there instead of play a threat. Here we're going to get our Glint Hawk down, and there is a possibility of us blocking plus lightning bolting. So we will do that if we can. What is our opponent playing? Well, they're just going to use their Chainer's Edict. Okay, makes sense. We're not going to be able to block it and use our lightning bolt. We'll just take our 3 damage. Of course, we can always choose to use the Alchemist Vial like I did there. And alright, I don't really want to show that we have multiple Molten Rains given the fact that we are losing this game. They've got duplicates of all their Tron lands. So we're just going to kind of take our beats and enjoy it, I think. Well, it looks like our opponent has played multiple things here. We have to buy another turn because we can journey that and bolt one of the Mulldrifters. We're going to go to 1, and we need to continue to rip additional removal spells, but our opponent has drawn a ton of cards last turn with all those Mulldrifters, so the chance of us winning this one is unlikely. We'll just watch our opponent do their thing, get a bit of our time advantage. We're not going to cast either of these because that has no help of... It's not going to help us win in any way. So we will lose game 2. Alright. Going into game 3, we'll take another quick look at our sideboard. And I don't think I did anything different. I did consider another time maybe bringing the Prismatic Strands since it does prevent them from board wiping us. And yeah, I think if I was to play it again right now, I'd probably bring in at least one Prismatic Strands just to try and prevent the board wipe. But we're going to run it back without that. Let's see how it goes. Well, this is a bit land heavy, but we do have that turn 3 Molten Rain, which should, hopefully, do something good for us. Firebolt is pretty eh. Oblivion Ring is nice. I can take out any of their large threats. So we're gonna keep it. Of course, we're not going to be playing the Great Furnace, just out of habit. Fishing mat comes down, so it means they could have Tron next turn, although we do have the Molten Rain ready to go to kill 2 Tron lands if it comes down to it. Unknown Shores is a nice seed. It means they won't have Tron next turn, and they ended up playing a Prism instead of cracking the map. So we're just going to go ahead and pummel that Tron land. And they don't have another land. Here, I'm very tempted to play a Molten Rain on their last land, but I'm going to give them one more turn to see what happens. If they don't hit another land drop here, since like they do have the Chromatic Sphere, so if they had a land on the top, they could just Chromatic Sphere and find more. If they don't hit a land in the next 2 draw steps, I'm going to pummel their last land and just try and lock them out on lands from that point. I'd rather not just blow one of my Molten Rains on an Unknown Shores and they get a couple more Tron pieces. That doesn't feel great. Of course, there is the argument to just try and keep them off lands altogether. So, yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Our opponent is going to crack its Sphere, and they did not play land drop. So here, we're just going to play the land destruction deck that nobody knew we were. They played a Tron let piece, we're just going to get rid of it. Here, if they'd played a land, I was actually going to use the Oblivion Ring on their expedition map just to keep them out of lands as much as possible. And here, we just have the win off of burn. Turns out, last turn I used the Firebolt because I knew I had enough damage in hand to go with it, and we wanted to use up 6 mana to do 4 damage. And yeah, turns out using 3 Molten Rains, Firebolt, and 3 more burn spells means you do not need to play any creatures. Little did our opponent know, we were playing a burn deck. So there you have it. I'll see you around 5.